Hello everyone, welcome back. We're playing the Artisan of Glimmith using nothing but pure logic. Solved 310 puzzles so far. This is episode 34 of our playthrough. Still have no idea how big this world is going to be, but by the size of it, it looks pretty large. We are over here in the match section. We're just going through these puzzles one by one, knocking them out. Match means all regions must be the same shape. Rose Windows tells us there are exactly 3 regions. So let's look at how we could draw 3 regions that will be the exact same shape. Well, let's just start with this. This is going to have to extend. So there are 4 circles, but only 3 regions. So my first thought is that each of these regions will have to take one of the circles. So I'm just going to, this is just playing around with it, but something like this. Each of the regions takes one of the circles, and then they can each extend out. That is going to be the solution here. But is there a way that we can get to this a little bit more emphatically? This has to come up. If we try to do something like this, we're not going to be able to get the same turns. So I guess the question is, could this ever be part of this region? Maybe something like this. But then how does this one recreate that same shape? I guess we could ask questions like, okay, which region is this in? If there's no way it's this one, right? That shape, we can't reproduce that shape. Another thing we should look at here is we have each region is exactly 9 long. 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is as far as this region could even get over here. So this region will have to take this one. So like this 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the furthest it could go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But that would break this off of there. So all that to say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This can reach all of them, but it creates really weird shapes. And how do you get over here? Because then if this one comes over here, then how does something get up there? So if regions try to take stuff outside of their starting space, it won't work. So as soon as we get where each of these have to have a circle, this circle is the one that's off limits. We know that each of them have to take a little bit. As soon as this starts taking this one, that is the forced section there. We play around with it a little. Again, these are spatial geometry puzzles, and I find it difficult to logically state why that is the only pattern that arrives at that. I wish I had better ways to describe, like, that is the solution, but why is that the only solution, right? That's what we mean by the per logic. It's not just that we found a solution, but it's that we found the solution. All right, now this puzzle is going to be about discovering where the symmetry is. We have two regions and they have to be the same size. So looking at this, I'm looking at these right here and these right here and these right here. These W pentominoes and how they interact with each other. Where is the line of symmetry here? This does not have the same stair step that the other one has, which makes it feel like maybe I have to do it over here. That this is the stair step that matches this one. So this actually matches here, and then this would match here. So what does that do for this? If we say that's the case, if I'm saying this actually ties to this, no, we're saying this ties to this, and it would have to do that to match, and that creates orphan. That's not the symmetry. So the circle here is a clue, the empty spot. So if I were to just do something like this, take all this out, and like that, 23, 22. So another way, I'm just looking at, like, how could I divide this shape up where we get this? Oh, okay. These are the better points to look at. These two right here. This shape and this shape. That is the pattern that we should look at. Let's take these off for a second. That did help me. Just dividing it up, so this is where our symmetry is. Now, it looks like, how is the circle going to play into it? We still have to do some weird matching. It's like, does this tie to this? Or does this and this tie to this? So let's say these two tie together. This goes up like this goes down like this. This comes over, this comes over. I'm sorry. That's not right. This comes over. But this can't take, I mean, this is, if this is there, this feels like they match, but it doesn't. feels like it matches, but it doesn't. But it's interesting that we have these things sticking out with this and this. It's all about finding the symmetry and keeping in mind this empty space. This empty space has to be repeated as an empty space somewhere else in the puzzle, but on a boundary. So where does this get reflected? Is it right here? What would that mean? If this empty space and empty this space, but this has to extend to in one direction somehow. Like this is definitely part of the same region. This is definitely part of the same region. This empty space it could be something like this matches this, matches that. And then this is a different region here. That, like this matches, but that's the same region. That's on the same side. Again, these pieces, I mean, these just feel so like this stuff feels so patterned, but then we have an empty space here, which would mean this would have to be an empty space. It can't be an empty space. Or this have to be like the edge of the border. And it goes around. But then eventually something this would have to come in here, and this would have to come in here, which means this would have to be the other side from up here. So doing something like this. So we're really saying this is part of this one. Not this one. Let's look at where, okay, so what are the possible symmetries? Let's start with simple ones. I just draw a line down the middle, and I'd have to like take one cell and put it to their side. So that's 20, that's 22. We have like a horizontal symmetry, and so we would either then, reflect or mirror, anything like that. We could do vertical symmetry, right? Similar thing. We have the problem here, reflect and all of that. These are not the same shape. Then we could have some kind of diagonal, and I know this is, and we end up creating two shapes. That's the negative diagonal. We could also do a positive diagonal, something like that, going this direction. And then there's it's a super duper yin yang type thing where it's two shapes that have been twisted and mirrored, and you end up with a kind of a cutout of itself type thing, something like something crazy like this, where like it loops around and this one loops around. Now this can't work because they're in the same region. But then like this piece right here could fit into here. So like I could draw this outline somewhere up here and then have this piece be in there. So like if I try to do something like that, if I try to like say, I want to draw this shape's outline up here in the top somewhere, or sideways, where could I draw this shape? Like if I just assume this is all part of one of the two shapes, where can I draw this in this other side somewhere? So I could do it here. Like that. Now this cannot extend any further. Because this, if this were shaped, so I would then be saying all of this is part of this one. But that just flat out breaks, because this would have to come down and then it would have to take all of these. They can't extend the same direction. So where else could this be? Up here? This can't extend now because that can't extend. So that's going to force this thing to take everything like this. But this needs to extend the same direction because they're facing. So they can't be mirrors and not rotations. They have to rotate. They have to extend opposite directions. So using this example again, it would have to be more like this. And this extends up and over, this extends down over, this extends up, this extends down. But then this cannot extend, because it has to go over and down, this can't go over or down. So this would have to take this, but then this would have to take that, and we've collapsed. And we've already tried this. This is the, and then what's going to go up here? Like this, this has to go up here. How in the world does this go? This doesn't go that far down. I mean, this right here feels so much like this right here. It's so close. But this right here breaks it. As soon as we do this, so if this is just, this can't just be randomly in the middle though. Like if I just randomly put this in here, we got, it has space all over the edge. If it was this piece like this, and we could do, this comes out and over like that. This comes out and over like that. But what goes here? This comes up, this comes down like that. So this extends down, this extends down. This takes these, this takes these. This cannot extend this direction. Wait, hold on, let me make sure I'm doing this right. This links to there. This to here. This is to here. This is to here. This is here. So what goes here? See, this runs out right here. Because this would have to come down, this would have to come down. This. This has to take that one. Because they have to be in separate regions. We're gonna have the problem with the circle. Okay, I added these two here. What's the corresponding on this side? That. No, it needs this one. It would have to grab this one. See, that's the circle problem. Go just around the outside. Just around the outside. This can't come up because that can't come up. This shouldn't be that hard. These puzzles definitely are the ones that mess with my brain the most. I've already said that multiple times. But finding the symmetry, seeing the spatial symmetry here. Like what maps to what in this puzzle? Like if this tried to map to this, that doesn't work immediately because we got the circle, the empty spot gets in the way. So going back to where does this empty spot live? So one of them does this. Let's say something. One of the regions does this. Well, that would match like this region over here doing something like that. But then this can't grow anymore, and this has to keep growing. They grow in the opposite directions. So how do you... And these, I mean, this right here is difficult. If we say, okay, well, let's make the like one region's on one side, one region's on the other. So if we do something like this, but see the corners in the wrong spot. They're in different spots here. So these are not the same side. They're opposite sides of each other. And it could be like this as well. It feels like it has to be like from spacing wise. So this would have to grow. Where does this match? Here? Like that? What about all this space up here? So we say, okay, maybe it matches up here. That matches. But that's just not going to work. Because this is all going to end prematurely. It's not going to have enough space to fit two regions in. So it would have to end something like this, where it does a loop around. So like this could do a loop around and end down here. What about if it was here? And then this took like a crazy roundabout way. But this would... Where is the pattern? The circle here really, I mean, this really got me like I don't know where to put this in relationship to the boundaries. You know, trying to make this become like this. So if I do something like this, you know, where it creates a sawtooth. I think it would have to be more like that kind of a sawtooth. So if like this, these two cutouts matched. But see, this is a cutout. Like it's on this side, it's a cutout here, but it would have to match these cutouts. Like this cutout and this cutout. But this isn't a cutout. Like this would fill in. Like it doesn't take that. So from this side coming up, it feels like a cutout. But this side, it doesn't. And where's the rotation? Like, does this somehow fit into here? So if I did this is this, and this right here is this. This comes down, this comes down. But then the cutout, this is the cutout right here. I can't, which means this shape is going to have to take this. That's not going to work. Where is the symmetry point? I feel very strong that the cutout here is the piece I need to focus on. I need to find what shape does this cutout create on one side? So if I do it like this, so now I have like this kind of a cutout shape. You know, I do something like this. This is so this creates a little hump, but where would that be on the other side? Maybe it is putting this one here, this here, and somehow forcing this to end up being this shape over here. So making it like this, or maybe better like that. So this but it'd have to be, this comes down and out. How would that, if this shape here, that, I mean, it would be this shape, like none of those work. I mean, if I try to do this side, recreate this pattern here, I have these sticky outs that make it really hard. So we can, I mean, if we do something like this, where would that, jagged shape end up being? Like right here? But we can see that doesn't work because, like, where does that put this one? I mean, I could try to do it here to here. But that's just making these match up to these. I need to match it up to this. I need the outside to match the inside. This circle has to match up to some cutout somewhere else. All right, so this is way too square. This is, and it's, I'm not seeing the reason I'm just drawing lines here is I'm just trying to see where there could be points of symmetry. You know, creating really long shapes. Again, this problem here is this cutout. So if we force it to go around the cutout and just do like a snake pattern. You know, if we're snaking around. Could we create a snaking pattern on the other side somehow? But that would, where does that put the, I mean, the cutout is still the problem. The cutout does not match. Do some kind of like weird zigzag, sig. Try to create that same sawtooth. Or these could be interchangeable. So here's the problem. I don't have anything to say this cannot be in the same region as that. There's nothing that says that these can't be the same region or they have to be separate regions. So I can just start drawing lines anywhere, and there's nothing that says that these two can't be in the same region, just as long as they can connect. And, you know, we're less than 21, you know, it could be a region. So that's where it's hard to just say, okay, how do we this is all spatial recognition. Where is the spatial symmetry? What is the rotation and reflection that these can overlap with? And I mean, the obvious one still to me is this matches here, and this matches here. I mean, let's just try that again. If I do this and I do this, now this one I'm going to extend out there. So I extend this down here, extend it down, extend it down. This comes down, this comes down. Takes these, takes these. But then, I mean, like, there's no way. How do I get in here? Who takes this? Because if this comes down, that's saying this comes up. Wait, I'm saying this is this one. This is this one, right? So that's extending here. How do I get over here? It doesn't. Where does this get reflected? Here? Is this one that one? Or this one? Can't be that one. Well, if it is, this has to go up here. Because this can't go down any further. This and this at being at the top, I can't expand. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, in, out, out. Now what about this? Dead space. Can't take it. That's not the symmetry. So if this one doesn't take that and that doesn't take this, then we're saying this somehow has to take that, which now means this has to do the same thing and take that. It doesn't work because these two are the symmetrical points of each other. That is not the line of symmetry. So where is this point reflected? So if another way to think about this, when we have two regions, each point reflects somewhere else into the puzzle. What I was doing something like, okay, let's say this reflects here and this reflects here. Where does that end up? And so what we're essentially doing is we're drawing a line of symmetry kind of right through here. And where we keep breaking down are these edge points. They don't reflect. So where does this point reflect? When it's all said and done, where does it reflect? Here? That seems problematic. Like, I don't know what reflection rotation we're getting to get there, but it has to do something. It has to come out and do something like that. I do not see how that could be the reflection point. Could it be here? Could it be here? Now, when we're saying that, this is off limits. This would have to be a dead zone. It can't be here because this piece can't reflect, right? If this reflects here and this reflects here, then where does this reflect? It doesn't work. So this is not, we know that's not the reflection point. What about here? That doesn't seem likely. What about here? This is going to have different kinds of problems, but it starts at first. We can do something like that, but then this point doesn't reflect. So I think it has to be somewhere in the middle that does something like this. I think this point cannot reflect onto an edge. That's my conjecture. And the reason I'm saying that is if it did, then that right there reflects into a void. And the void cannot be part of another region. It would have to be part of this region that reaches there. But this, by reflection, says this one has to be there, that one has to be there. So I think it's going to be that this has to reflect into, this has to be somewhere in the interior that extends outwards. Like this reflects to here, this reflects to here, this reflects to void. Because the whole point is this will have to reflect into void. So we need a place where when we take it, the other side of this is void. Or the other shape. It has to be a boundary, is what I mean. It has to be a boundary. It's like I've said, if I'm doing this, there's a boundary, something else has to come here. But we're reflecting, and whatever is on the other side of this will have to be on the other side of that. So I think it has to be a void. So I think we're looking for a space like this. Not a great example. Maybe right here. This reflects to here. This reflects to there. But this is a dead end. So does it need to be on a flat surface? Because the other thing is the other side of this also has to either be void or the other shape. So what if it was here? This is not going to be able to grow correctly. If it was here, got the same problem with reflection. It was here, and then this could grow like that. This would grow, something like that. The other problem is that this has to keep growing out and to the side. Like, starting with that horseshoe shape here, like, where does all of this connect? There's not a lot of space. This would have to grow out this way, which, that has to do that. This. So we're just going to create new pockets that we can't get into. I am way over on this video. I'm way over on this video. And it's just as one puzzle because I can't see the symmetry. And the theme that counts is like, where does this reflect? It has to reflect onto an edge of the other puzzle. So again, doing something like this and this reflects to here. So I think what I'm going to say is this has to reflect onto itself somehow. That this is a self-reflection point. And so one side will take it like this and the other side takes it like that. But the problem is this kind of symmetry doesn't work because it's not in the center. It's not like the line of symmetry is not here. And if I change the line of symmetry to the other side, like this, we've already talked about how this is a problem because neither side can take this piece. If this is part of the symmetry, so if I extend this out, this can't extend out. And we still have all kinds of weird shape stuff that doesn't match. Like this has to, so okay, if we use it as this kind of the symmetry, and again, let's say this W matches this W down here. So this matches up here somewhere, like this. But see, the W's, they're not connected to each other. They're too close. So this would have to be really more like how does this shape get to this W? And the closest it could do would be something like, you know, which would then force this W to have a 1, 2, 3, and then maybe it's like a, I mean, something like that. Could be something like this, where this lines up with this, but this W is not in the right spot. Where is this T? Here? I mean, I can do that, and nope, that goes the wrong way. That's saying it like this. Going away from the... So it's more like this. Like that. If this matched that into this, then this could come into like that. So that maps to there. That maps there. This maps here. This maps here. This is all good. I'm going to take this out for a second. So this has to take this. That has to take this. This has to take that. That has to take this. Oh my goodness. This is it. This is it, but oh my goodness. So this this comes down, this comes down, this goes up, this goes up. This one maps to here. Oh no, wait, hold on. Maps to here. This maps to there in this world, which means this must be part of this one. So what does this map to? All right, so let's, this can't take this one. So this has to come down, this has to come down. This goes up. That comes down. That. So this maps to here. This maps to here. I've got to get this. So this has to come up. So that comes over. This comes down. This comes down. This comes up, this comes up, this comes over, this comes down, this comes up, this comes over. Oh my goodness. Ironically, when I was focusing this right here, mapping to here, I wasn't off. I had it backwards, but it does. So this is the region here, and it snakes around. I mean, how are you supposed to find that break-in? How are you supposed to find that? It's a beautiful puzzle. I feel like I'm not giving it the justice it deserves because I can't articulate how you're supposed to visualize this. How are you supposed to visualize this goes here, that this is this? I still can't articulate it. I see, I'm looking at the solution. And I cannot articulate how you're supposed to discover this. And I feel like I'm going to need to somehow come up with a set of theorems or patterns to describe these kinds of reflections. There was an earlier comment a long time ago, one of the videos that I said, I'm really interested in how you're going to do a pure logic explanation of some of these reflection type puzzles. And I think they're referring to these, and I'm with you. I'm struggling. How do we say that this is, I mean, it is the solution, but how do we say that this is how you're supposed to logically deduce that this is the solution? Because it's so spatially intuitive. We're using so much spatial intuition. And I feel like we're not giving the puzzle the proper justice of explanation. It's like there's a layer of beauty in this puzzle that is still veiled. And I want to unveil the beauty of the puzzle. Now we see the beauty of the solution. The solution is beautiful, but I feel like there's another layer of beauty, which is in the discovery of the mechanism behind the solution, because the solution is not the goal. The solution is the product. The goal is to find the beauty of the puzzle, not the beauty of the solution. That's the whole goal of this series. And I feel like if I don't delve into this further, that I'm missing out on that beauty that should be exposed. So looking at first principles, I'm going to spend we're way over time. If you guys are on to the next video, that's fine. This is the last puzzle, so but I do want to spend just a little bit of time developing some of this ideas. So when we're doing a match or a Gemini type puzzle, or any type of puzzle that has these large reflected / rotated pieces, the first point that I think is really important is that every piece of the shape maps to a corresponding singular point of another shape. For example, I'm looking at this circle right here. In this puzzle, it maps to that point. This point maps to that cell, maps to this cell. This cell maps to that cell. This one to that one. This one to that one, and so on. And so what we're looking for is a mapping exercise that when I take that pattern and I follow it through, I get the same shape, right? So I'm just looking at from pure mathematical, we're creating a graph that when I, move forward, turn left, move forward, turn left, move forward, turn left, move straight. I can change it where instead of move forward, turn left, I move forward, turn right, move forward, turn right, move forward, turn right. But my ordinal directions are consistent. If I turn left here, I turn right here. This maps to here. This maps to here. So the line of symmetry, if we were to draw the line of symmetry here, it's really a point of symmetry. The point of symmetry is this point right there. This little white point. And everything is a rotation or reflection around this point. Is that a correct statement? Is that the correct point of symmetry? Or is it actually right here? No. This goes to there. This goes to here. And this goes to here. Where is the point of symmetry? It seems like it's right in here, right? Because this goes across. This goes here. Yeah, this is not a point of symmetry. It's close to it. Like this guy goes all the way across over here. It's not because it's reflection and rotation. Right. It's like I wish I could visual. We take this, we flip it, put this side over here, this side over here, and then we rotate it. Right. So, and then we rotate it, and this comes all the way back up to here after we flip it. So we flip it. If we flip it horizontally and then rotate it counterclockwise or anti-clockwise if you're British, 90 degrees. So it's a flip turn. So in that case, you don't really get a true point of symmetry because there's a flip. So we could draw, we're flipping it around, there's not really an axis of flipping, but we flip it and then we're turning it. So I'm wondering if there's a way we can, calculate like a center of mass, something like that, where we'd say, okay, this is, the width and the height, the puzzle, because this takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 height, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 width, right? It's both. You can go, from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So is there something that says that they had to be? Because if I grew one of these to 9, the other would have to grow to 9. In a given column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. So there's a 5, 2. Yeah, I don't see that any of these things I'm doing helps with this maps to here. That maps to here. So this is a very close. This is a very close to a reflection point as well. because that goes there. This goes here. That goes here. We come up to this. Yeah, and this one's kind of a reflection. Up to here. This is, there's not much, because this is way, this goes way over here. This goes here. Yeah, so this right here is kind of, so we have like a point of reflection here, here, and here, 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 here. So there's 3 points that kind of feel like when everything rotates. I don't know what if I'd love to hear your comments on this, folks. How can we be more descriptive about it? I'm sorry for the super long video. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate the support. We do need better verbiage for these kind of puzzles, in my opinion. Let me know your opinion. Take care, everyone. Like, subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.